Right now, I'm standing in a place that connects thousand years of history with the future. This is not just a building. This is where science, culture, and faith once shaped the world and are being rediscovered again. Welcome to the Center for the Islamic Civilization. Let's start talking with some quick facts. This center was initialized in 2017 and being opened in March 2026 in Tashkent. It is not just a museum, it is massive educational, scientific, and cultural complex. Inside, there are libraries, research labs, exhibition halls, archives, and many, many more. One of the most important highlights is the ancient Quran of Caliph Uthman, one of the oldest in the world. The entire territory covers 10 hectares, with the central dome reaching 65 meters high. Wondering what makes this place truly unique? Let me walk you through several good sides of this place. First, architecture. The design is inspired by historical sites like Samarkand and Bukhara, but mixed with some modern elements. It feels like you are walking through history, but in the future. Second, cultural depth. This place shows how Central Asia contributed to science, art, and Islamic civilization over centuries. Third, scale and ambition. This is one of the largest projects of its kind in the region, even recognized among the world's most beautiful museums in 2026. And honestly, it's not just educational, it's emotional. You feel the identity, the history, the pride.
Now we get to identification of management issues. The primary one is inadequate ticketing infrastructure. The center of Islamic civilization forces visitors to stand in fully exposed outdoor conditions while waiting at the physical ticketing booth, with no overhead shelter protecting them from Tashkent's brutal summer temperatures. A digital ticketing option exists through the iTicket platform, but international tourists are almost entirely unaware of it. The site provides minimal promotion and the app is largely known only to domestic users. The result is a welfare problem disguised as a logistics problem, and fixing one without the other changes nothing. So the secondary issue is pedestrian wayfinding. Visitors walking from nearby metro stations or hotels will find almost no pedestrian signage, pointing them toward the complex. For international tourists dealing with language barriers or limited mobile data, the approach becomes genuinely disorienting, often tending them doubling back through unfamiliar streets. Wayfinding isn't decoration, it's a fundamental part of the visitor experience, and its absence here signals a blind spot in site management planning. The next secondary issue here is road quality and drainage. Roads and footpaths surrounding the Hastimam complex have been torn up and reconstructed multiple times in a short span, pointing to poor initial construction quality rather than any coherent improvement strategy. Visitors are left navigating dusty, uneven, and partially blocked pedestrian routes on their way to a major heritage destination. The lack of proper drainage makes things worse during rainfall, turning approach paths into muddy, pooling surfaces that undercut the dignity the site deserves. The next problem which was identified is accessibility for visitors with disabilities. Accessibility provision for visitors with visual or mobility impairments is fragmented. Tactile guiding blocks exist in some areas but disappear in others, making the system functionally useless as a continuous navigation route. This isn't just a practical failure that excludes a portion of potential visitors, it's a legal one, given that Uzbekistan had ratified the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Signing a convention and leaving broken pavement tiles unaddressed are two very different things. The last problem is incomplete building construction. The rear and secondary elevations of the center of Islamic civilization building remain visibly incomplete, with exposed construction materials and unfinished decorative work in plain sight from surrounding streets. While this doesn't directly affect what the visitors see inside, It chips away at the visual coherence of the entire Hast Imam complex as experienced from the urban surroundings. A heritage site should present a consistent standard of care on every face it shows the public, not just the one facing the camera.
Now let's apply two important frameworks to better understand the situation at the center of Islamic civilization. First, the Historic Urban Landscape or HUL framework. This approach, introduced by UNESCO, focuses on the idea that the heritage site is a part of the larger urban environment. It is not only about the one building, but also about the surrounding area, including streets, infrastructure, and the community life. When we apply this to the center of Islamic civilization, we see that it's the part of the Hast Imam complex, which is located in the historic Eski Shahar district. This means the visitor experience starts even before entering the center. It includes the roads, signage, and the overall condition of the area. From this perspective, problems like poor road quality, lack of wayfinding signs, unfinished building parts, and weak drainage are not just technical issues. They show that the wider urban environment is not properly managed. The HUL framework suggests that the improvements should be made in an integrated way. This means not only improving the center itself, but also upgrading the surrounding streets, accessibility, and the public spaces. It also highlights the importance of coordination between different stakeholders, such as site management, city authorities, and the local community. Another important point is managing change. Tourism is increasing and the number of visitors is growing. The HUL approach supports the solutions like the improved ticketing systems or covered ticket areas, but these changes should respect the historical character of the site. Now moving to the second framework, strategic heritage management. This framework, developed by the UNESCO World Heritage Center, focuses on how to manage heritage sites effectively by identifying gaps in management. When applying this framework to the center, several weaknesses become clear. First, in visitor management. There is no proper ticketing space. Digital ticketing is not clearly visible, and there is a lack of clear navigation signs. This shows that visitor needs are not fully considered. The framework suggests creating a visitor management plan. This plan would organize visitor flow, reduce congestion, and improve the overall. Second, stakeholder coordination. The issue of repeated road reconstruction indicates weak coordination between the center management and the city authorities. The framework recommends establishing a formal coordination system to ensure better planning and the communication. Third, resource management. Some parts of the buildings remain unfinished, especially less visible areas. This suggests that investments were not fully balanced. The framework supports creating a clear investment plan and regularly monitoring the condition of the site. Overall, both frameworks show that the main issue is not only the center itself, but how it's managed as a part of the large system. A more integrated and coordinated approach can significantly improve both the visitor experience and the long-term sustainability of the site.
10-year strategic advisory plan for 2025 to 2035 developed for the Center of Islamic Civilization. This plan is designed as a phased approach, meaning we focus first on urgent improvements, then move towards long-term infrastructure, and finally sustainable excellence. The goal is to gradually enhance visitor experience, accessibility, and overall site quality. Phase 1, Foundation and Urgent Improvements, 2025-2026. We prioritize immediate visitor issues and operational efficiency. First, we propose the construction of a covered ticketing and queuing pavilion, which will protect visitors from heat and rain and improve satisfaction. Second, we introduce an iTicket promotion campaign using multilingual QR codes and partnerships with international tour operators to increase digital ticket sales. We also recommend a fast-track entry lane for pre-booked visitors, which is expected to reduce reduce key times by up to 40%. Additionally, two key audits will be conducted: a wayfinding audit to improve navigation and an accessibility audit to ensure inclusivity for all visitors. Overall, Phase 1 is focused on addressing urgent issues quickly and effectively. The Phase 2 from 2027 to 2030, the focus shifts to infrastructure and improving the visitor experience. We propose installing multilingual signage across all roads to reduce confusion and improve orientation. We will also complete accessible pathways, including tactile paving, to ensure the full accessibility. In addition, improvements in roads and drainage system will prevent flooding and ensure long-term quality. From a cultural perspective, we recommend introducing audio guides and updated exhibition content to enhance visitor engagement. Finally, a time entry system will help manage crowds and improve overall flow. Phase 3 from 2031 to 2035. The focus moves to innovation and long term sustainability. We propose developing a mobile app with maps, booking features, and interactive experiences. We also introduce a community benefit program to support local jobs and crafts. A visitor monitoring system will ensure continuous improvement based on data. At the same time, strengthening the Heritage Advisory Committee will improve coordination between stakeholders. Finally, we aim to build international partnerships and pursue UNESCO recognition.
If you ever visit Tashkent, this place is must see. Not just to look, but to understand. Because this place is not just center for Islamic civilization. This is who we were, who we are, and where we're going.